Hi, I'm Lance Lambert. Thank you for tuning in to the Vintage Vehicle Show. We are at the Grand National Roadster Show in San Mateo, California. We are going to introduce you to some really nice people who own some fantastic cars. You're going to learn a little bit about the cars and have a great time. So just kick back, relax, enjoy the show.
Well, it's almost Friday night and party time is near. When I'm dancing with my baby, I'll be grinning ear to ear. Love to watch her shimmy, love it when she does a stroll. Well, I love to see her rock, love to see my tootsie roll. Well, I'm greasing back my hair and I'm listening to the nines. 'Cause when I'm with my baby, I know she'll be looking fine. Love to watch her shimmy, love it when she does a stroll. Well, I love to see her rock, love to see my tootsie roll. When the music starts to play and then we get out on the floor, other couples move aside 'cause they don't matter anymore. They'd rather watch her shimmy, rather see her do the stroll. Well, they love to see her rock, they love to see my tootsie roll. Well, other guys are hooting and holler, they're as jealous as can be. They watch us boogie woogie and they wish her name was me. Love to watch her shimmy, love it when she does the stroll. Well, they love to see her rock, love to see my tootsie roll. Well, her lips as sweet as candy when I hold her close and tight. As long as there's this music, we'll be dancing through the night. Love to watch her shimmy, love it when she does a stroll. Well, I love to see her rock, love to see my tootsie roll. Love to see her rock, love to see my tootsie roll. Well, I love to see her rock, love to see my tootsie roll.
Longtime viewers of the Vintage Vehicle Show know that about a year ago we were at the Grand National Roadster Show, and this fine gentleman standing next to me, Mr. Bones Noteboom, was one of our best interviews on the show, and he talked about a car that he was building. He showed us sketches of it. He told us about it. Well, here it is. You have finished the car. It looks fantastic, Bones.
Thank you. Yeah, we got it done just before November for the SEMA show. This is the first indoor car show it's been to. It's a 39 Lincoln Zephyr. They never made a Woody. We took a four-door and cut it up and made it into a Phantom Woody, I call it. Put all late model Lincoln drivetrain in it, 96 Lincoln motor and transmission, so it's got the 32-valve overhead cam. Tried to keep everything Lincoln. It's airbagged, right on airbag suspension, all leather interior, all TVs, stereos, everything you can put in one of these things for the car shows and going down the road.
And I noticed on your TV you have the Vintage Vehicle Show nonstop running.
Yes, yeah. They send me the tapes for free.
So how many people have come up to you and said, "Oh, I used to have one of these," or "My dad had one of these Zephyr"?
You said this. It's the funniest thing. The first place I went to a SEMA show, and I'm driving it in, and past the guard gate. The guard gate, he jumps out. The guard jumps out. He said, "I used to have one of those." And I says, "Oh, you did?" He says, "Yeah, that's a 44, isn't it?"
Well,
everybody's.
And you said, "Yeah, it's a 44."
Yeah, I wanted to get in.
So the future of the car, you probably have a lot of shows lined up.
I'm going to make all the dance here shows this year up Sacramento, Portland, Seattle, and then I'm going to, in between Portland and Seattle, I'm going to go to Detroit Autorama, come back to Seattle, and then come on down south again to Blackie's and Good Guys. Then next year, Bob Larraby's going to take it all over the Midwest. It'll be back there for, I think, 20 shows. So,
What's the running gear on the car?
It's got a Mustang 2 in the front with airbags, Ford 9-inch in the rear with airbags. This is, unbeknownst to probably a lot of people, this is the first unibody car ever made. So to take the frame away from the body, it'd be like opening up a cardboard box and taking the bottom out. So you know it would just fall apart. So we left the center section in and put the clip in the front with the Mustang 2 and everything. Worked out well.
Well, Bones, you are carrying on the tradition of designing and building a fantastic car. We thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Very much. I appreciate you guys doing it.
Okay, thanks, Bones.
Yeah.
Well, they say that size doesn't matter, but I think in this situation it really does. Dan Sear, promoter of the Grand National Roadster Show. It's great to be here, and this is a really big trophy you have here.
This is a 9-footer, and that's not 9 feet away. That's 9 feet tall.
How is it that this came about, that somebody decided to build something this big?
The Grand National Roadster Show was started in 1950 by a man by the name of Al Sloniker, and he had the vision from day one that he wanted to build a trophy and build an award that would be revered worldwide as the top of the mark for its type. The America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award was built by Al Sloniker in 1949 and first awarded in 1950, and this is the original trophy.
A few familiar names on that trophy.
They include hot rod luminaries such as Leroy Tex Smith, Blackie Jijian, who is the promoter for the Fresno Roadster Show. Blackie won in 1954. For a number of years, we had 2 winners because there was a time when a race car won. A race car roadster was eligible to win, as well as a street rod roadster.
Future of the show, it's just another 50 years?
I hope so. I'll only be 110 by
I was
then.
going to say, Dan, I'll meet you right here in 50 years, okay?
All right.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
I'll probably demolish this building
Yeah.
by then.
Around us. Thanks
All
a lot.
right. Thank you.
The gentleman standing to my left took a long drive from Covington, Washington. Bert Fraley, how you doing?
Oh, doing fine. Thanks.
So tell us about your car and what it's like being down here hanging out with the big kids.
Well, first of all, it's definitely the big time down here. These guys take this thing real seriously, and this is hot rod heaven. I don't think it gets any bigger or any better than it is here right now. Meantime, this is a 1941 Ford Sedan delivery that I bought in a basket about 5 years ago. Had no hood, no fenders, no running boards. All I had was the back body right here, and the whole back end of it was rusted off. And I hauled it up to Clyde Mosslander in Monroe, Washington, and 3,500 hours later, this is what you got.
Looks like 3,500 well-spent hours. The running gear on it?
Running gear is a Ford GT40 crate motor with a C6 transmission. It has all Ford gauges in it. Has a Ford 9-inch rear end. Has an air ride suspension. discs on the front and the drums on the back.
One little thing I have noticed here at the show, there seems to be more Ford power, a bigger percentage of Ford-powered cars than in the past.
Well, it's becoming very popular now to put a Ford in your Ford. After all the years of hot rodders running other powertrains, they're finally coming around to that. And Ford's working with everybody now, you know, making parts available for us and the engines and everything, so that helps too.
One of the things that always stands out at the Grand National Roadster Show, of course, is paint jobs. And this one, I think, is the one in the whole show that just reached out and grabbed me. Don Carlisle, this is quite a color you have on this.
Thank you very much.
How did you come about picking this color? And did the car say this is what I needed to be? Or?
Well, there was a couple of people down, Phil Weststone, and he always wanted to paint a car this color, and we discussed it and shot it on some panels, and it really came out nice, and that's the way it came about.
So you decided that you wanted a car like this. You mentioned earlier to me that you intend on making this a daily driver after the circuit's done.
Well, it's going to be a driver. Naturally, it's not going to be driven in the rain, but yeah, I wanted a car when I retired to have my first hot rod built, and Barry White from Street Rod Repair Company in LA built me a car, and it came out great. The design work was all done by Chris Brown, who also works at SSRC, and they did one heck of a job, I think, and I really appreciate what they've done for me.
The running gear on the car?
It's a Dynaride, Barry White Street Rod, all independent, and that's his rear end. It has a LS1 with a Magnuson supercharger on it. It's just built for street rods. Has a 4L60 transmission, and most people have looked at it and said it's an LS1. Well, where's the coils? Well, we put them in the kick pads. Rides like a champ. So I've probably got about 5-6 miles on it, which is not very much, but we wanted to show it the 4 shows, and then I'm going to get to drive it. That's what I built it for.
So when you're driving down the road in this, is this like the absolute dream of a lifetime coming true? There's no place better on the planet to be than going down the street in this car?
Well, that's exactly right. I've always wanted a street rod, and I finally got, this is, like I say, this is my first one, and I couldn't be more pleased the way it came out. And I'm very proud of the people that built it, and I can't say anything more about it. It just came out great.
Well, Don, it's one of the most beautiful cars here, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We have a repeat performance here. We have Dave Tucci on the show. He was on a few years ago when we were covering Sacramento. Dave, thanks for being on the show again.
Hi, how you doing? Good.
Tell us about this beautiful car that you have here.
Well, it's a 35 Ford Roadster that we've hand-built and designed. It really wasn't based off of any original design, but what we did use is the grille out of an original 35 Ford, and then kind of built everything from there.
The actual grille insert has been altered, though, correct?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit. We've chopped about 10 inches out of it and laid it back about 22 degrees, and then just rechanged all the peaks and valleys, but it still resembles a 35 Ford.
And the running gear on the car?
Running gear is a Ford 351 Cleveland with a T5 5-speed transmission, and the rear end uses a Lincoln Mark 8 center section with an independent suspension.
So no small block Chev in there, huh?
No, had to use a Ford car, Ford whatever.
So who do you know here that you got the primo parking place that people trip over your car when they come into the show?
I got lucky, I guess. It worked out good for us today. We got a really good spot right near the doors, and everywhere in the show is a pretty good spot, but it's pretty good.
Any trends you're seeing in cars coming up that maybe something new since the Roadster Show last year?
Just everybody being creative. There's a lot of stuff they're using, different headlights and different way they're shaping cars now. I don't know where it's going to go. It's going. You never know how many different things they come up with.
Well, Dave, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. We appreciate having you on the show.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Cruising through the driving in my classic coupe. Everybody's watching as I make the loop. Engine on the low, she's really signing me. Shining like a mirror, man, she's really clean. Nothing else can touch her when I make the scene. Cruising
I'm with Alice Corrin Selby, who is an author of a book. What's the title of your book?
Hit the Road, Across America in a Topless Car.
Which is exactly what she did. Alice, tell us a little bit about the trip and how it all came together and how you decided on this car.
Oh, it was a fantastic trip. I took almost 3 months. I did 8,458 miles by myself in this car. It has no top, it has no heat, has no windshield wipers, no doors. I don't even know what cruise control is. And yes, I have other cars. All of them have tops, but not this one. I kind of wanted the challenge of it, but also this is just a really, really fun car to drive. I love driving the car, so I thought, why not? I want to see America. Do I have enough guts to do it? We'll see, and I did it.
What kind of reaction did you get when you pulled into, big cities, little cities, small towns? What did people do?
I could go into a restaurant or a museum, and I'd come out, and the car would have a little fan club standing around it. And then we get to do a little car talk. It's amazing. If you either have an old car or a dog, people will talk to you. There's no strangers. Everybody just starts talking to you. It's great. I love it.
So you didn't put a little dog alongside you and call the book Travels with Alice?
No, the dog would have died. I figured that out in Iowa. I thought if I had a dog with me, it'd be dead by now. It was a little rough. The car is more like a motorcycle than it is like a car. You have to wear a helmet. Not for safety, but for comfort reasons. The wind is really tremendous. I had record-breaking wind, cold, and heat on the trip, broke all U.S. weather records. 17 degrees in the mountains of New Hampshire, was 96 degrees in Iowa. I'll tell you, the cold was easier to take than the heat. The heat was really something else. I met a lot of really fantastic people. I got snowed on one day. Rained totally off the road 3 times.
I notice your most asked questions list there. One of them is, what do you do when it rains? And it says, pull over and make some new friends. So I like that.
That's right. That's exactly it. Or else you put on the rain gear and keep going. I mean, I'm an Oregonian. We don't melt. Yeah. It's okay. You can get wet.
So is this a one-time thing, or do you have plans in the future for taking another trip?
I know that I'm going to be doing more traveling in this car. Now I feel like I'm addicted to asphalt. And I can't wait to get back out it again. I think I would like to take this car maybe from Seattle all the way down the coast, stay as close to the coastline as possible. I've done the pieces of the coast, but I'd like to do it all in one shot, all the way down to San Diego, or all the way, maybe from border to border, do north to south this time.
Do you think you'd need a navigator on that trip?
No, I don't take any prisoners.
Cried over you. Seems like forever since you said we were through. How many nights have I cried over you? Cried over you. How many times have I walked by your door? I had dumped you, but instead you dumped me. We dated steady for over a week. Gave you my class ring, you could hardly speak.
We have had a fantastic time here at the Grand National Roadster Show. I'd like to thank Dan Sear for the invitation. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time.
You broke my heart in two, broke my heart in two.
Hi, we are at the Sport Compact and Import Car Show in San Mateo, California. It is very noisy here, but it's also very exciting. I'm in kind of a sea of jelly bean of cars here by the colors that they are and the size they are. It's really an interesting show, so you're going to have a chance to meet some of the owners, see some of the cars, so sit tight and enjoy the show. Dara Sedano is standing next to me, and she is standing next to her beautiful car. What are we standing by here?
This is my 97 Honda Civic EX Coupe.
And how did you come about building this car and making the choices you did for all the various changes on it?
Actually started as a daily driver. I bought it just to go to school, and then my boyfriend, who's into customizing cars, was all, hey, why don't we put some rims on it? Why don't we, start off and do something different? And kind of evolved into this, It just, every paycheck, putting something into the car, and finally it turned into this.
You have, forgive me, I claim to know nothing about these cars. It's, it looks like some just major changes on the bodywork, so that's...
What I've added is Toyota MR2 side vents, Corvette front vents. I've also did a Toyota Supra taillight conversion on the rear, shaved the door handles, shaved all the moldings, put, ground effects on it, molded it in all the side skirts, a whole bunch of body work.
I see you got a giant can of nitrous on the back.
Yes, I do. Long direct port nitrous from Nitrous Express, and I also have a T4 turbo.
But you never drag race the car, right?
Never drag raced it. I did all this afterwards, after the paint and body work, and I'm all great. I can't even dyno it. Forget this.
Something that I spotted that may be old news to this segment of the hobby, but to me, I've never seen it before. You appear to have a television screen in your rearview mirror.
Yes, I do. I have my rear view, I have my two side view mirrors, and I even took out my gauge cluster and put one in there as well. You got to do something different. Got to get the people to look at your car.
Obviously, you can flip a switch and that not be there, and the mirrors function as mirrors.
Exactly.
As far as increased power to the motor, what have you done?
I have put AM rods, pistons. I've ported the head. I put in a turbocharge. It's direct port nitrous. I've got a blast cap. You name it, I got it on there. Cam gears. Anything you can think of to do a D16 motor, it's on there.
What I'm thinking is it's awesome. You've done a really good job on this. So, Dara, thank you for taking the time talking to us. Okay, enjoy your car. Be careful of that nitrous. Yes. Sonny Mendoza is the proud owner of this beautiful 97 Civic
hatchback.
And it's real radical. It's the first one I've run across here with the doors that flip up like this. Tell us a little bit about the car and how you made the decisions you did for designing it.
Okay, basically I just bought a 1997 Civic. I just wanted to stand out. I mean, from the other Civics. So we made the door. We converted the doors to stand out from other Civics. Added, as you guys can see, that we added some fenders. We added a candy cobalt blue 19-inch rims. The interior, we did up the engine. We chromed it out. One undercarriage chromed out, and that's it.
Do you have a nitrous system on this?
Yes, I do. I have a single fogger nitrous system. Gives me about 100 horsepower.
I've noticed that nitrous seems to be real common. What kind of deal do you have going with your insurance agents that I don't have going with mine, that I can get away with having that, or you can?
Basically, that's something that they don't know about.
Well, fortunately for you, this airs in Seattle, so they won't find out down here.
Right.
And Sonny, your buddy said to be sure and wish you a happy birthday.
All right, great, thanks.
Okay, Sonny, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. It's a beautiful car. walking around the show, and I really like this car. I tracked down the owner, Ethel Rivera. Ethel, this is really a neat-looking car.
Thanks.
So this, you mentioned it's a 95 Honda Del Sol, right?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like every part of this thing has been altered. What all have you done to it?
Well, first I've got to start off with nitrous. I have a nitrous oxide system with 100 shots of nitrous, direct port, and a customized T3 turbo system with a Skyline intercooler.
Transmission, automatic, 4-speed, 5-speed?
Yeah, it's a automatic transmission. And then we'll go to undercarriage. I don't know, fully chrome undercarriage with Brembo brake systems. I've got Tenzo R Racing seats, Type R style.
You have shoulder harnesses. Is that for looks here? With the nitrous system, you probably actually need that in some cases.
Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, it's just for looks. I don't really, drive my car. It's basically fully for show.
This is a kind of an unusual color. It almost looks like fingernail polish. It's just so bright. And how did you come up with this?
Actually, I just wanted to add a kind of an added touch to it, like a girlish touch, due to it kind of looks like a guy's car. Other than the color itself, the setup, the way it looks is like guy style. So I decided just to add that girly touch to make it like magenta or pink, which is also like my favorite color. So
You realize that the Vintage Vehicle Show has been on for about 5 years and nobody's ever described their color as girly?
I don't know, but yeah.
It's beautiful. That's one of the reasons that I tracked you down, is this was such a neat looking car, and the color is one of the reasons. So Ethel, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you being on the show. I'm standing next to Raymond Coe. Raymond has a beautiful 1994 Prelude. Raymond, this is a really nice looking car.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what kind of alterations you've made.
I got the R33 front end right here. I got a custom white and blue interior that's vinyl. I got 17-inch Tenzo R rims on them. I got a 3 10-inch JL audio sound system. I got a TV, PlayStation 2 inside.
Do you think that in 30 years, when you're at a car show, do you think it's going to be predominantly imports old 90s imports at the car shows, or do you think that the traditional hot rod and customs that I'm more used to, do you think that they're going to survive 30, 40 years into the future?
I think they'll still survive. A lot of people like them muscle cars, so I think they'll stick to the hot rods. And then the imports, I don't know, it's still growing too. I think the hot rods will still make it though. A lot of people like those.
I know the traditional hot rodders, they look at these cars and there's a lot of inspiration here. There's a lot of new ideas, a lot of fresh ideas. Do you guys draw much from the traditional hot rods and custom cars, do you think?
I think so. Like some cars, they like to build their engines, they chrome it out like hot rods, they like to show it off. And a lot of people, racers, like the muscles. So like I guess they get from the hot rods, they try to build their engines to make it as fast as theirs, I guess. So, yeah.
I think a fact that a lot of the traditional hot rodders don't like to face, but most of these cars out here could whip our butts real easy.
Yeah, some of them probably can. Like some of them use nitrous oxide, but a lot of them go all motor. I think it's even. Both, like some cars will beat the others.
Okay. Well, Raymond, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Villanueva is standing next to me. We have his beautiful 2000 Toyota. This is a fine-looking car, Gary.
Thanks.
So this is a long ways from the way it stepped out of the showroom. Can you tell us a little bit about the car?
Yeah, I put I changed the color. It used to be a black car, and I changed it for winter green with pearl blue to make it attractive to eyes and stuff. Then I put full system. I put 5 TVs. I play with
5 TVs?
Yes, 5 TVs.
So you could have vintage vehicle on 5 different televisions in your car.
Yeah, I guess. Then I got PlayStation 2 and full body kit, and I got some sponsors too to support me with some of my parts.
It's unusual, but it's exciting to see the promoter of the show, Dan Sear, combine the sport compact and import scene along with the traditional hot rods and customs. Is that working for you guys?
I think it will work as well, because we might find something that we could use to at least win from import show off, or and we could learn something I don't know, paint job or something. We could ask them, or
that's what I've noticed with the people that my peers in the hot rod and custom circle, is that they're coming out and looking at the sport compacts and the imports and saying, "Did you see what that guy did with the paint?" And that's really cool. It's like we're getting inspired from you guys, and if you guys are getting inspired from us, that's great.
Yeah, it's I think it's getting back and forth. They might think that car too low, And some of your hot rodding cars are really high, but they're powerful and stuff. So
I don't think it's possible to have a car that's too low, is it?
There might be. So it depends on how well you're gonna put it low.
Yeah, if it becomes subterranean and it's actually below the surface of the earth, then it's bad. But if it's on it, it's good. All right. Well, Gary, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. I appreciate it. It's a beautiful car.
Thanks.
We've had a great time here in San Mateo, California at the Import Motion Car Show. We've had several of you write in and ask for some sport compacts on the show, so this was for you. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again.